Hello everyone, my name is EchoBright and welcome back to Blast from the Past. In today's video, I think we're going to be working on having a look at building the Gatehouse entrance. And in addition, I'm going to show you some clips of me blitzing through the rest of the items which I would like to have collected for the time we upgrade to the full release version 1.0. So let's get started. Yes! Yes! Oh, thank God. Oh my God. Oh, you do not know how huge this is. Having a look at the design here, I actually quite like how it looks with like 3 prongs in between each of the wooden pillars. So I'm going to grab my axe and I think I'm going to knock down these and just see how that looks. I think I prefer that. I think it looks a bit cleaner. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and do it on the other side as well. Now, I don't really have any plans for the gate room, but I would like to have a look at getting some stone bricks and seeing if I can do anything with that. Maybe make it a little more bolder, increase it so it's kind of like make it thicker, make it taller, just generally see if I can just make it more of like a focal point. I feel like that makes sense for the type of building it's supposed to be, I suppose. Though what that type of building is, I am unsure. I'm going to leave that there, I think. I know that kind of breaks the pattern, but I think that makes more sense. Yeah. Okay. If I just build up these pillars and then take down these other pillars, then it should look... Yeah, okay. I like how that looks. That looks pretty good.
Okay, so I forgot to speak during this little section, but basically I just wanted to create an archway as the entrance for this sort of gatehouse. I figured, like I said earlier, that I'd do it out of stone bricks, and I ended up quite liking how it looks.
Oh, I like that, actually. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, yeah, I think I've got a front design. And then, if I break through here, I can replicate it on the other side. Nice, perfect. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I have built up the tower. I quite like it. I think there's a couple of things that could be changed, but overall it looks pretty good. It's got access to the walls, it's got access up top so you can look out. I feel like in this sort of case, I think that the walls were, like, in a story sense, I suppose. The walls were built here first. They're out of cobblestone. It's a much more rougher, less refined material. And then the first 2 levels were built, which have a stone brick or stone foundation, which are a lot more solid and worthwhile, I suppose. And then the upper 2 levels were built after the fact with wood. It was cheaper, but they had, like, found, I don't know, maybe they'd found better ways to keep it solid. So yeah, I am quite proud of this. I think next up on the agenda is going to be digging out the floor and making it wood, probably. Just some wooden planks rather than, like, logs. I think these sections will probably be stone again. Maybe they revamped this little section as well, because this is kind of becoming like a pathway. So I imagine, like, you've got the pathway, you come through, and it leads you out here. So I'm going to start digging this out, and I'm going to show you a couple more clips of gathering some items. Alright, I'm going to dig this floor out, but first, a bit more of my item rush. Okay, I've gone and gotten this section dug out. Oh, wait, I'm gonna just dig this out as well. There we go. So yeah, So yeah, I'm going to, I think, fill this in as well. And then I think my first plan is going to be here. Just cordon off these areas. Just to really show that this part was like renovated intentionally. So I'm gonna put stone bricks here. Whoops. Okay. I'm gonna just quickly put in a little bit of texturing. I think when it comes to stuff like this, I do tend to prefer to put texturing in after the fact. Like, I know, especially like with how slow this is taking, it is probably best to do it as I'm building. But honestly, my brain works best when I have like a base foundation that I can then go and attack afterwards. I've got a video that I'm working on, and it kind of really shows some of my thought process when it comes to building. And it really does sort of demonstrate how much I value that sort of simple base and then add on a bunch of stuff style. I know there are some people who can work with that, like with having it be sort of like they'll like literally just go stone brick, stone brick, stone brick. Oh, put some stone here and so forth. But I can't think like that. Honestly, I applaud those who can. But I don't think that'll ever be me. Maybe it will, who knows. Maybe I'll look back on this conversation I'm having right now in a year's time and be like, idiot, such a fool. Who knows? Okay, so for this next part, I think I'm just going to do it in stone. I'll see how this section looks. If it looks horrendous, everything being cobble, then I might switch it out and put wood on the floor. No, that's not bad. I might put like little sections of wood that have like been patched in. Almost like, you know, we've had like a tear come through here. And then whoever's come to replace it has then done it in wood. Nah, I don't like that. It's an interesting thought, but I don't think that's really a thought that works well. So if I was building something like this today, I probably wouldn't be using cobblestone, or it wouldn't be like the main block that I used. I think I would very likely be using something like packed mud, or oh, what's another block that I would likely use? Or just like stone brick as the main basis. I think because those blocks and items are in such great abundance in those versions, we kind of lose sight of these original ideas and methods we had to build. I'm not saying that there's anything necessarily wrong with either side, but I will say it's interesting to see the difference between styles and palettes that we use today compared to what we valued back when we didn't have such a vast palette. I will say, I think that part of the reason is just a lot of the blocks are better and look cooler But also part of it is, I would say, we tend to have an almost aversion to building like how we used to. I think, I know like, for example, when I was younger, I absolutely adored using birch planks. You know, birch was almost like the prestigious block, it felt like. But nowadays, it almost feels not like, it feels incorrect to do it. It feels like, you know, spruce is the block to build with. And you're seeing it here where I've not used birch. I've not used birch. And you're seeing it here. I've not used birch logs at all in any of my builds just yet. Whereas I've been using spruce logs a lot for all of this. Even for their... And so it's interesting to sort of take into account the development of what we prioritize. And it's going to be interesting to see, as I get access to more and more blocks, more and more items, what am I going to prioritize and value? Will it be keeping with this style, or will I prefer a different style? Will I want to upgrade and keep building more and more modern? It's something that I've been considering, and I have no clue as to what I will go for, but I am legitimately excited to see. That's part of the reason why I wanted to do this, not just to have a look back and see how different and amazing the game is today compared to this old version, but it's also to see if this will change how I play the game, how I value different things. Because of course there will be some things that I will legitimately think, yeah, I'm so glad we have this now. Or, ooh, wow, I, you know, prefer how it was, etc, etc. It feels like there's something special and that I don't recognize. Like, I have a lot of nostalgia personally for 1.7 through to 1.12, because personally in my mind 1.13 is the start of the modern era, and so the versions that I really grew up playing, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 1.10, 1.11, 1.12, or the Xbox 360 and Xbox One edition versions of those updates, those have something special to me, whereas these versions don't. Alright, ramble over. I think it's time that I finish up the last of these items, and let's get going. There we go. Okay, so with that feather, that is officially all of the items that I am willing to collect in this version of the game collected. All of these blocks are here. These two sticks are representative of cracked and mossy stone bricks, which are things I need to find. It's just going to take quite a while to do that. Okay, so here I'm just missing a melon block, actually. because those 2 gaps at the start were for cobwebs and dead bushes, which cannot be obtained in survival just yet. Then if we go down, we have all of these redstone items, and we are missing a sticky piston because I do not have a slime ball, but I will not be gathering one of those just yet. I'm just going to wait and find a slime chunk. I'm not willing to dig out a big zone below Y16 just with the chance of happening upon one. So I'm just going to wait for it to happen naturally to me. Up here I have all of the wool and a red bed. And this is not a placeholder, that's meant to be empty. Okay. Then I have leather armor, wood armor, stone armor, chain armor is inobtainable in this update, iron armor, iron tools, gold armor, gold tools. Down here, this is reserved for diamond armor and diamond tools, but I'm not at the stage where I have enough diamonds to sacrifice them on this, whilst also being able to have full diamond tools for when I go find the stronghold. Then I have all of these extra tools, and then I think this is all meant to be empty. And then I have these foods. I have these natural items. Flint, coal and charcoal have the same texture, interestingly. And then I've lumped in these guys with them. We pop over to this one. We have a stick. This is meant to be a stick. A bowl, painting, paper, map, book. This is for melon seeds and a melon item. It would just require me to find a mineshaft, which again I want to have happen naturally. I have transportation, and then this is for the music disc cat and the music disc 13. And then all of these, and this is for the slime ball, which I mentioned earlier. And then this one, I have all of the dyes, except for cocoa beans, which once more is something I just have to find. So with that, that is like my big marker of moving on. There's just a couple more projects that I would like to get done first. Okay, so, I am going to leave this here. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.